I've never been a fan of flying. The thought of being trapped in a heap of metal, hundreds of thousands of feet in the air, is enough to make a chill run down my spine. I've been on at least 10 flights in the last 8 years for business, and each flight terrifies me just as much as the last one. So when I learned I would have to go on another one, I was everything but thrilled. The flight was supposed to take around 6 hours. That might seem short for the globe-trotters out there, but for me that was 6 hours of me thinking of all the ways that plane could crash and end in my demise. I boarded the plane at about 11 p.m. At 11:30, the plane began to move towards the runway. The takeoff was the hardest part. I closed my eyes as the plane lifted off the ground and ascended higher and higher, and eventually leveled out, as I sighed in relief. Now that the plane was steady, I was able to take in my surroundings. The plane was pretty small, so I could easily see the front and back of the plane. I was sitting next to the aisle, and nobody was sitting next to me. Across from the aisle was a woman and her husband. The woman had a Bible in her hands, along with a cross necklace around her neck. She was obviously enjoying this as much as I was. Her husband, on the other hand, was enjoying a good night's sleep. In front of them was a young man and woman, and in front of me was a father and a son who looked to be around 12 years old. Behind me was a man who looked to be in his 40s. I could also see a bald man, and who I presumed to be his wife, sitting in front of the young couple. But the most interesting passenger sat at the back of the plane. He sat alone, staring at the man behind me. I decided to see if I could get some rest. After about 10 minutes of trying, I was startled by the plane shaking. The woman across from me yelped in fear, clutching her Bible closer. I felt like yelling too. I could not stand turbulence. It felt like it went on for 10 minutes, when it probably only lasted for 1 minute. After the plane stopped its shaking, the captain came over the intercom. "Sorry about that, folks. It appears we have some turbulence. I'll keep you updated if there's a possibility for some more." The father mumbled something. Surprisingly, the next 5 hours went quite well. I was even able to get some sleep. That was until the man behind me began screaming in pain. "Oh God, it hurts. Something's wrong with me, I need help," he yelled. I looked behind him and saw him scratching at his right arm. He had the worst rash I had ever seen in my life, and he was scratching like there is no tomorrow. He eventually even drew blood from all that scratching. "I need a doctor. Please, someone help," he yelled. As I noticed another rash appear on his neck. I never saw a rash appear that quickly. 1 second it wasn't there, and the next it was. With this second rash came more scratching. "Please, someone, anyone, help me, it hurts." Everyone in the plane was looking at him, as his rashes spread until his entire body was covered in bumps. "Oh God, though," the man yelled, as the tiny bumps became the size of a penny. The young woman screamed in shock as they burst, and blood droplets splattered onto my face, and I yelled in disgust. The man then turned over and looked at the man in the back. "Please make it stop. I didn't sign up for this. Please make it stop." The plane began to shake again, but this time it was violent. The young boy in front of me was thrown out of his seat. The man was thrown into the aisle. As the plane continued to shake, the man stood up in the aisle and noticed his legs were now thin, and he was considerably taller. "Make it stop," he yelled again at the man in the back. He began scratching away at his skin again. This time with such force he began to scratch his skin right off his body, revealing a dark, hard-looking material beneath. His arms extended and contorted, leaving them long and stick-like, and the skin shut off like a snake, revealing the tough material beneath. "Kill me," were the last words he spoke as his skin peeled off his face, revealing a human skull with black muscles and sharpened teeth. The thing roared, and the young couple got up out of their seats. It ran at them, using its long arms to grab them and rip them to shreds, as blood and guts were flung across the plane. This was it for me. This thing was going to kill everyone on the plane. The monster turned around and noticed the young boy crying. It got up and began to move towards them, when suddenly, a hail of bullets hit its chest, bringing it to the ground. The beast began twisting and turning on the floor, screaming in pain and anger. It got back up and began running down the aisle. When it reached the father and son, another hail of bullets hit it once more, this time on the head. After countless shots, the creature fell dead to the floor, its head being nothing but mush. I turned around to see the man in the back, with an assault rifle in hand. He lowered it inside. The next few hours were a blur. Needless to say, we didn't land in California. Instead, the plane landed in a military base, where we were escorted inside and separated. They put me into a small room, and a man and a woman walked in and commanded me to sit at a table. They asked me everything. I answered truthfully. I figured they pretty much knew anything anyways. After the questioning, I was led to a room where two men stood in medical gear. One of them sat me down in a doctor's chair and gave me an injection. Then just like that, I woke up in my apartment. I quickly checked the date to make sure I hadn't been dreaming. An entire week had passed. I sat down on my bed, unsure what to do next. That's when I remembered something. After the two men gave me the injection, I had heard them say something. "Jesus, did you hear what they were saying?" one said. "No, what's wrong?" the other replied. "They're saying it's only a matter of months before it's airborne."